Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time stopping by. I am going to be sharing with you a haul, or as I like to call them here on the channel, my recent deck roundup. These are decks that have come in for me to take a look at, either for review or purchased or Kickstartered or whatnot. There's quite a few things here, and I think these are all from me. I think there's one Kickstarter in the pile. Anyways, we're going to get into it. I have some mass market stuff, some indie stuff. Like I said, at least one Kickstarter. Let's just jump in. I have a fresh cup of coffee, so this is going to be a chatty, casual look at the things that have come in, some initial thoughts, that sort of thing. Most of this stuff I have not really spent any quality time with, so these are very much like first impressions. As with all my recent deck roundups, though, if there's something, hold on, sip of coffee. If there's something here that you want to see me do a full walkthrough of, definitely let me know down in the comments and upvote each other's stuff so that I know what you most want to see, because there's a chance I won't be able to get to all of these things. There's a good chance that I won't be able to do full walkthroughs on everything. So let me know the things that you are most interested in and upvote so that I know, yeah, you know, what you guys want to see. Magical and Badass Unicorns, I will probably be pulling from this selection for our next monthly member readings, so keep that in mind too if you want to see these decks in action and you're a member at the Magical or Badass tier, that some of these decks are going to show up on the list for the decks that I will have close at hand for that. So, without further ado, I'm going to sip my coffee, get into it. The first things that I want to talk about actually are these two mass market oracles. So I'm pretty sure this is a Kelly at the Truth and Story Made Me Do It situation, but it is the Paolo Barbieri Star Dragons Oracle and the Unicorn Oracle. I think I almost said Oracle. Anyways, these are, look, my thing with the unicorns, I try not to get all the unicorn things, and I'll anti-haul unicorn things sometimes, because I'm like, I don't need all the unicorn things. And then what do? I go and get all the unicorn things anyways. But in this case, what really excited me is that, as some of you know, Peggy's very much sort of dragony energy, and I'm very much unicorny energy. So to have two oracles, both low Scarabeo decks that may or may not work as a team, excited me. The idea of dragon and unicorn energy mixing, I have ideas, I have plans. I've already taken the decks out of their boxes. Let me talk about it. So I put them in a divided Peggy bag, and I keep changing up how I'm using these, but let me just show you what I've kind of got going on here. What I've actually done is mixed the two decks together, and I have the guidebooks in the other pocket. But the reason I'm using a divided bag for this is because then I can also separate the decks and use them individually. I've used them both ways. I kind of like them both ways. But let me show you what we're looking at here. So the backs are surprisingly compatible from an appearance standpoint. So the unicorn one has these backs, and then the dragon one has these backs. And I just feel like they're not dissonant. You know, it's not like a really huge difference. So interestingly, actually, I really think of these two decks, I kind of think the dragon deck is like better if I had to pick. So you might already know that Paolo Barbieri's artwork, these are curated art decks, I'm pretty sure. So these are decks where the art already existed and then has been like sort of applied. So let's just zoom you in a bit so you can kind of see some of the cards. It's been, a meaning's been applied to it, right? So the thing about the unicorn deck that I originally wasn't a fan of, and it's kind of been growing on me, is that they all say something like, not a snowman, not a dragon, but they do still have keywords with them. So let me just separate some of these so I can kind of show you a little bit about their energy. They don't shuffle perfectly together, like they're not perfectly even, but they're pretty darn close. Like it's almost invisible, the difference to the naked eye. I can kind of tell in the shuffle that they clump up a little bit, but anyway. So I've used these a couple different ways already, because I'm working with them this week at the time I'm filming this actually. So what I've been doing is using a tarot card in the center and then drawing one dragon and one unicorn. I did that for a little bit, and now I've switched it up. I've shuffled them together, and I'm just drawing two, whether it's dragon or unicorn, one to either side. But the neat thing about the dragon one, I find, is that it seems to be very like ferocious-y sort of dragon energy with the key phrases as well as the messages in the guidebook. And what I really like about this unicorn one that I thought I didn't like was this whole not a tree thing, not a clock. To me, it's sort of bringing attention to where unicorn guide sort of energy might be showing up in the wild. But the tone of these decks in the guidebook is it's kind of like what you would expect. So for example, this destruction card in the dragon deck, the message has a few different parts. So the way the guidebook's written is you have Wisdom of the Herald, which is kind of like your general message. Then you have Wisdom of the Dragon, which is as if the dragon's speaking to you. And then you have a Star Dragon Invocation. Each one of these cards actually has a constellation featured on it. That's the whole star reference. So up here, the constellation's here. And funny enough, actually, the Monoceros constellation is actually in this deck. I wonder if it's gonna... I can't remember which card it is. I think it might have been card number 3. Anyways, Monoceros is the unicorn constellation. Just fun fact. So there is a unicorn connected card in the Dragon Oracle too, which I thought was kind of cool. Anyway, back to the point about destruction here. So for example, the wisdom... Oh, I already moved the card because I got excited. What did I do? Oh, there it is. Okay. So the wisdom of the dragon in here says... Where did it go? There it is. Burn it up. Harness your inner goddess Kali and destroy, smash, tear things apart with reckless abandon and wanton disregard. The time has come to annihilate the old world to make room for the new. Destruction is part of creation. Let it burn. And the key phrase is releasing your anger. So I find that the dragon one brings a lot of that sort of sass and like kind of intensity, just like I would kind of think of like where Peggy's concerned. I know it's kind of cheesy, but it is what it is. Whereas the unicorn one, I feel like brings a lot more of an encouraging message. So the guidebook in the unicorn deck is more, what card is that? 21, not a wave. So this one is intensity. Where did it go? Here we go. So there's a transformation message, which in this case is kind of describing the experience in the card. Then there's a meditation, and then there's an affirmation. So I ride the wave of life with intensity and power. I am a force. And then the action is, if you are blessed to live along the coast, take a beach day. So it gives you like an activity you can do, basically. So anyway, I kind of enjoy them, separating them out and doing like dragon energy and unicorn energy. And I've also been enjoying them mixed up and just seeing what comes up. So I've been playing with them both ways. I'm not entirely sure which way will win, although I'm kind of leaning in the direction of separating them is going to win. But I've been having a lot of fun playing with them. They're inexpensive mass market. I've been kind of waiting for the right combination to come out of a dragon and unicorn deck to be in the same style so that I could mix them like that. Because yeah, that's just a personal thing that I'm excited to do. So yeah. And also, if I talk about every single deck this much, this is going to be a very long video because I have quite the pile of things to show you. But anyway, that is how I've been working with these to date. And that's going to go back in my bag to go chucking around with me again. And these boxes are going to get put away. Okay, sip of coffee so I don't let it get cold. Let's talk about this one. So this is a Kickstarter, the Beautiful Beasts Tarot, and I've had a bit of a journey with this one in the sense that when this Kickstarter first launched, I talked about it in my hot takes, and I had some hesitance over backing it despite the fact that it looked beautiful. Because there wasn't enough art done and I wasn't feeling very confident about the project. That very first Kickstarter attempt by the creator, Studio Rain is the name of their company, I guess. That first attempt didn't go through, and then they relaunched it on Kickstarter once all the art was done. And I have to admit, I'm a little bit kind of disappointed by this now that it's in. And it's not because it's not beautiful. It is beautiful. So we got a little sort of slip, kind of like a business card, kind of. And then a little sticker of the magician card that came in with it. So I sat down with this last night when it just came in. And I was a little disappointed to find out that all of the, let me get into it. I'll show you so you can kind of know what I mean. But all of the animals are not named in the guidebook. And I think it was an oversight. I don't think it's intentional. So the premise, I'll explain more about that in a second. Let me explain the premise. First of all, the quality of these cards is really nice. It's a really pretty warm gold, like very warm golden gold edging. It's almost coppery colored. And these backs are gorgeous. And the premise of this is that all the images are, they might have some objects and stuff on them, but the background of the card is a close-up of fur or feathers or scales of a particular animal that is associated with this card or has meaning that is relevant to the card. And that's the thing that excited me. I thought this was really, really innovative and yeah, really punchy. So like, for example, in the Fool card, we have, I'm going to get us zoomed in a bit so you can see better. We have the white fur of a dog. We have a Luna moth for the magician, a barn owl or barred owl for the high priestess, a lioness for the empress. I will say there's a quality to the cards where when I was looking at them from further away, like on the Kickstarter, I felt like it was easier, almost like I find that when I hold them really far from myself, that it's easier to sort of tell what I'm looking at. But I was really disappointed because when I went through the guidebook, I was like, oh, what animal is this? So this one is an emperor penguin with a ram horn. And I found multiple things. I found that the objects on top of the close-up of the background almost distracted. So like in this case, it's a horn of, I think it does say in this case. Where's the emperor? Yeah, so it's a ram horn. Oh, duh. It's a ram horn, and it does mention that this is an emperor penguin in the back. But not all of them do. And the ones that don't aren't necessarily very obvious. So like in the case of the lovers, it says just snakes. It's not specific. It just says, weaves throughout all aspects of our lives, much like these two snakes, talking about love weaving through our lives like these two snakes. But it doesn't say what kind of snake. But later there's a different snake, and it does say what kind, I think. The chariot tells us what kind of horse this is. There's a lion. It goes on. Several of them do say, like here's one, the Wheel of Fortune. And this was the first place I noticed it, is that in this description, there is literally no mention even of a snake. It doesn't even say. Like it's clearly, I think it's a snake. And it seems to be a snake, but it doesn't say in the description. And I started to try to keep track, and there were 5 out of all of the major arcana cards that don't name the animal. And that was really disappointing to me because that's the whole point of this deck to me. So I do think, like I said, I think it's an oversight because I noticed that there's this how to use the guidebook section inside. This is, by the way, I didn't even say it out loud, I don't think, the Beautiful Beasts Tarot. It literally says that the card description, it says, this text explains the card description and meaning while also exploring the symbolism behind the chosen animal and the other symbols that adorn the card design. But in this case, we don't even hear about the animal. And then there's more. So let me find another example. Because this is just the thing that I'm struggling with a little bit with this one is like, but I want to know. So in Justice, it says sea otter. The Hanged Man is a batwing. Death. Okay, this one doesn't say, but maybe it's just meant to be fur and bones. I mean, I thought maybe that was it, so I gave that one kind of a pass. Temperance doesn't say, but I thought maybe this is supposed to be like an angel wing. But I want to know. It doesn't say. The description just says Temperance celebrates balance, but also the beauty that comes when you blend the two components in balance. Sometimes we're lucky to find things that, when blended, are truly greater than the sum of its parts, and something new and beautiful is created. But nothing about the animal. And then that happens, I believe, again in the Devil. Yeah, it happens again in the Devil. Now, I'm assuming this is... Oh, no, it does say. I'm sorry, it does say goats. The Tower says, I think, also. So this one is... Let's see. Yeah, much like the catastrophic breaking... A powerful kudu horn. So this is a kudu horn. So I'm assuming that's also kudu fur in the background. The star is a dove, so it does say. The moon is a dog and a wolf. The sun does not say, but I'm assuming that's the white horse. But again, it doesn't say. Just share this joy. So it's got the message and the meaning, but there's nothing here about what animal that is. Again, I assume it's the horse. In Judgment, talks about a feather floating above like a soft, weightless feather, but doesn't say what kind of feather. It doesn't say what the feather in the background is, like what kind of animal that is. Is it another angel? I don't know. Here it does say, for the 4, we've got human, lion, eagle. In the Ace of Cups, I believe it says. And it went like this the whole way through, where sometimes, yeah, so this one says koi fish. And then the 2 of Cups doesn't say. And again, it's a different kind of fish, I'm assuming. But there's no reference. It just talks about the meaning of the 2 of Cups. And that inconsistency was such a disappointment when I got this in. This is a beautiful deck. So I just think the guidebook needs to be maybe tweaked or updated so that even if all it had was just like a list in the beginning that said for each card, like there's like a table of contents, right? Like if we had a little cheat sheet or list even in the back that just said for every card what the animal is. But the whole point of this is I wanted to see how the different animal symbols connected to the cards. Like, does the 4 of Cups say? I think the 4 of Cups does. Yeah, so the 4 of Cups says mantis. And then the 5, I don't think it says. Nope, it does. Rough scales of a crocodile. But it was like this. It was like every 4th or 5th card would just not say. And in some cases like this, it's clear it's a snail. But in others, it's not. Like this is a hummingbird. I remember that. Was the 10 of Cups listed? Elephant, yeah. The betta is beautiful. I love this card, the Page of Cups. The Knights are horse. The Knight is a horse here. And the Queen of Cups was a betta again. Was it the King of Cups? Skin of a shark. So yeah, like that's a raven. Was the Two of Swords listed? And it was kind of like this. It was like I went through and I was just literally reading. This is Vulture. As I went through, and there was just several that were missing, and I was just bummed because I just wanted them to be consistent. So that's my only complaint about this thus far. Like I said, I hope that there's going to be an update. The 5 of Swords, male sparrow, the 4 of Swords, koala. So there is a lot where they are named. Yeah, here's another one. The 6 of Swords, it doesn't say what kind of bird this is. It doesn't say. So it just says, you're on the verge of transformation, about to leave your old self behind. While this can seem scary and tragic in a way, it's only going to benefit you in the end. Sometimes doors need to close in order for new ones to open. Take some time to ponder what you need to take with you and what to leave behind. But again, nothing about what bird that is. And to me, again, that was the point of this deck for me. So that's the thing, is that there's ones that are missing. So I wish I knew. And like I said, some are going to be obvious. Like that's a Black Widow. It even tells me what kind of bones these are in the guidebook. So a lot of potential, but just a bit of a missed opportunity. And the other thing I'm struggling with a little bit with this one is just that the images are really beautiful. But I felt like they worked much better, like from a distance. It's almost like my eyes, as I get closer to the card, I remember looking at this on Kickstarter and being able to, without even looking, identify a lot of the animal markings and types of fur and stuff, and I feel like now that it's closer up, I'm struggling more, which I wasn't expecting either. And there's nothing, I mean, that's just personal stuff, right? But yeah, I do want to know what all the animals are. Yeah, the 3 of Pentacles is a bumblebee, which I think is so cool. But I find that, yeah, if it's further away, it's a little easier. It is really beautiful, though. The cardstock's really, really nice. So this one is very much in my I'm not so sure pile. We'll have to see how it all pans out. But I definitely would love to know what all the animals are in a more consistent way. Like, it'd be better even to me if it was like in the layout of the guidebook, if it said the name of the card and then underneath that just listed the animal and then gave us a meaning. That way, at least, even if it doesn't go into a lot of detail about how the animal is connected. But again, that was the thing that drew me to this deck, is wanting to know, okay, why did you pick tortoise, or why did you pick koala, etc. And that is done on some of the cards, just not all of them. So this is a I'm not sure deck. I'm gonna have another sip of my coffee. Oh my gosh, this next one I'm so excited about. So this is the Love Who You Are Oracle, and this one was totally off my radar. I don't think I covered this at all in a Hot Takes, but this is by the same creator that did the, this is by the same creator as, that did an artist combination that did the Wisdom of Hafiz Oracle. And it's kind of cool, actually, because if you look, these boxes are the same kind of design, right? They have the same kind of style to them. They're different sizes, obviously. But this Wisdom of Hafiz, if you haven't seen this, by the way, I've talked about it a bunch, but it's really, really beautiful. And I've kind of got it in my head that I might mix these. I haven't decided for sure, but I may mix them. But they do have very different vibes. So the Wisdom of Hafiz has lots of bits of Hafiz's poetry. It's really beautiful, this deck. So I was really excited about this one. The Love Who You Are is a totally like self-worth themed. Oh my gosh, the spot gloss detailing on the box, like hello US Games. Amazing. And it even came with this little, like, you know, y'all know, I don't use these, but because I have my Peggy bags, but I will, you know what these are great for if you don't put your decks in them. And it's really nice that they included it. If you're like me and you don't put your decks in this kind of bag, these are really, really great for bath salts, because if you have really herby bath salts, you can put it in and this acts like a tea bag in your bath, and it keeps all the herbs and stuff in. It lets the salts all melt out. So I love having these for my bath. But anyways, this book, first of all, is so incredible. So it actually features, the creator of this is Angie Sullins, and the art is Silas Tobal. But Angie Sullins' poetry is in here, and it's all self-worth themed poetry. You guys, I'm probably going to need to do a full video on this one, because, yeah, any of my members who are currently going with the self-worth path with me, like, this is such a good deck for accompanying that kind of work. Like, look at the inside of the box. It says, Though I do not know all of what I shall become, today I am a woman proudly failing at who they wanted me to be. Angie Sullins. I mean, the box detailing is beautiful. It's a really gorgeous package. But this, I'm pretty sure, and I wanted to check this, is the same style and size of cardstock as the Wisdom of Hefes. And I think, oh no, the gilding's a little bit different. You can see this one's darker. But like other than that, these have the same gloss. They feel like the same cardstock. And the artwork, of course, and the border treatment, it's all very, very similar. So this is the Wisdom of Hefes. I even had to check because they're so similar. And so if you really like the artwork on that deck, oh my gosh, this one. So did I already shuffle it? Oh, I just messed up because that's in the back. So the keyword messages are really, really beautiful. They're like, love who you are, trust your wings, tell shame to suck it. These are all the stuff that bloom like a badass. This is all the stuff I talk about in my book. It's incredible. Easy does it. Mind your monkey business. Radiate gratitude. Stand tall. Tend the fragile. These are so pretty. Look beyond the surface. Lots of sweet animal energy in this one as well. As you can see, release expectations. Float like you mean it. I love that. Celebrate the little things. Clear away old energies. Oh, nope. That one goes with Wisdom of Hefes. Oops. Oopies. That's what happens when you put them next to each other like that. Okay. And these backings are also beautiful. This is going to be a perfect companion to my self-worth profile readings that I do for clients. I'm really stoked about this. They are, I think, a little bit on the thinner side, like as far as how many cards. I think it's like, is it 40? 44 cards, which I'm cool with. That's fine with me. As soon as it gets under 40, I start feeling a little bit like it's too thin. But I'm really excited about this. And again, the beautiful poetry, like I'm glad, in a way I wish it came in the same sort of setup as this did with this size guidebook. But when you see how this guidebook is laid out with these poems in it, so I'll read you this one. This is, again, this is Angie Sullins. So it says, is that the beginning of it? Oh, let me find a shorter one. Hold on. We'll just... Maybe there isn't a shorter one. Hold on. Let's see. There's not a ton of them in here, and I don't want to, like, give them all away here. Here we go. This is a good one. To be. So it says, I am a woman remembering who I was before the world told me who I should be. I'm a woman falling in love with what's in here, letting go of the illusion of what's out there. I'm a woman rewilding the heart, rekindling the soul, restoring my life all the way home. Though I do not yet know of all of what I shall become, today I'm a woman proudly failing at who they wanted me to be. So this is the full poem that this insert in the box is excerpted from. But it's really beautiful. The messages are very empowering. Again, this is specifically a self-worth themed deck, and I just think it's really good. And I'm stunned nobody's been talking about it. So I definitely want to do, I think, a fuller video breaking this one down. That is the Love Who You Are Oracle. But again, if you liked Wisdom of Hefes, I mean, oh, so pretty. So next up, I finally picked up the Barbara Walker Tarot. This is, I think, mostly a Marlena and Dawn made me do it, I guess. They both talked about this deck before, and I've heard other people talking about it. This is one of those kind of classics that I feel like I'll regret it if I don't take the time to play with this and get to know it. The little guidebook that comes with it should be good. I feel like to start with, they look pretty decent sized passages for every card. So I'm going to try with just this little guidebook. There is a bigger book by Barbara Walker that you can get. It's out of print, I believe. But I hear a lot of people talking about how this is a kick your butt deck, and I freaking love a good kick my butt deck. Like, that's a big part of what I go to tarot for, is to get my butt kicked. Like, that's the whole point. I want to be called out. I want to, like, look at all my crap. I like that. So my current go-to for that is the Deviant Moon. But there's something about this. I really like all the black and red in it. I don't know why, but I do. But the minors have keywords, which is cool. So you have like love, grace, regret, childhood. For the Six of Cups makes a lot of sense. Salvation for the Ten of Cups. Some of these keywords definitely go their own way. So I kind of feel like this is almost its own, like it definitely follows the structure of the tarot, but I kind of feel like it's its own thing. But it does not, it feels kind of aggressive, you know? So I'm curious about that. I love this Four of Swords. Looks really, like, powerful. Disillusion in the Eight of Swords. And then there's, deities of some sort of associated with the quartz. So the princess here is Skuld. The prince is Tyr. the queen is Kali, and the king is Yama, and this is in the sword suit. So I'm like, dang, that is some like this Queen of Swords, Kali's literally eating the entrails of this person. Like this is not for the faint of heart for sure. So I do want to take some time to get to know this. And Tarot in a Tin, I'm always going to like be curious about them, you know? So I feel like it's a good opportunity to check it out and see what I think. So that is the Barbara Walker Tarot. I don't think this is one that I'll have a whole lot to say about just yet. So maybe think about that before asking me to do a walkthrough, just because I'm so new to it and I really need to spend some time with it, I think, before I do a more detailed video about it or read with it. So this is one I want to get to know though. This one was a purely indulgent purchase for myself. And I'm pretty sure that I have Krista over at Crochet Witch Tarot to blame for this one, the Nicolette Chacoli mini. So I don't have any Los Scarabeo minis right now, but this is the cutest, sweetest packaging. It feels so sturdy for a little mini deck. And I do a lot of work with the Nicolette Chacoli. I really, really love this deck. And as you can see, mine's already shuffled because I already played with it. I got it in and was like immediately reading with it. This is a really, really nice mini deck size. It's a bit bigger. Like if you have like one of the Llewellyn minis, like the, I have the Everyday Witch Tarot mini. That one's been living in my bag for a while. But I feel like this is a mini that I will reach for more. Like Everyday Witch Tarot is great for like an everyday kind of reading. But on the go, I almost always, like when I'm in a position to be able to do a reading, like out on the go, I'm usually doing one because I really need one. And it's going to sound weird, but the Chacoli Tarot is definitely a tarot I reach for when I really need the messages that tarot can give me, in the sense that sometimes I'm like unpacking something, or I'm dealing with a trigger, or I'm just like, I'm in a tough spot and I want the encouragement, or I want the message. And I think this one might actually be a really good purse deck for me. You know, the deck that I can chuck in my bag and just carry around with me. And I love my full size. So that's my plan for this one, is to literally just toss it in my bag. And I do have a full video deep dive on this one already. So I will try to remember to link that in the description box below and the cards. But I freaking love this deck so, so much. If you don't already know, the little guidebook for the full size and for this mini are both written by Linnea Weatherstone, who is the author behind the Forest of Enchantment Tarot. So this one is like an indulgent just for me. Gonna chuck it in my bag. Super excited to have it kind of purchase. So this deck is like, again, like an indulgent. I just was really curious about it, and I thought it might be a fun quick fire type deck. So this is the Prism Tarot by the 8th House. There are a couple of tarots with this name, with the Prism Tarot name, but this one again is by 8th House. The creator is Sarah Calvarisi. Someone messaged me asking me if I'd seen this and if this would make a good keyword deck for doing something like my tarot with training wheels. And I was like, maybe. So I went and looked at it and I was like, hey, this is actually really cool. And I liked the colors and the art style. It was funky. It has really pretty edges. But no book. Literally all you get is the box. So in the bottom of the box, it just says, it literally says, and this cracked me up. It says, think of this deck as your training wheels to becoming a memorized reader. When we put down our guidebooks, we start to build a personal relationship with the cards. The keywords are here to guide you as you develop your intuitive understanding of each archetype. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's literally what I talk about in Tarot with Training Wheels, which, if you don't know, Tarot with Training Wheels is my free online course here on YouTube where you can learn how to read the tarot using a single keyword method that I teach you. So having a deck like this that has a single keyword, I'm already a fan. And then it tells us a little bit here. It tells us that the minor arcana, the gems are pentacles, raindrops are cups, lightning are wands, clouds are swords. And then it tells us the court card, if there's a court card key. So novices are pages, apprentices are knights, oracles are queens, and masters are kings. So that's basically it. So it's a really simple kind of sketchy, messy sort of art style. Well, not really, maybe with the wording, this font. So we literally have like a simple illustration, these colorful backs that I like, these fun, funky, very, to me, 90s, 80s, 90s inspired backs. And then a phrase, a key phrase or keyword. So magician is creation, high priestess is intuition. This is such a great kind of deck. Let go for death, rejuvenation for the star, reckoning for judgment. And I watched a walkthrough, I think, of this before I picked it up. And I just felt like I really liked all the keywords. So I was like, okay, this works. I'm not as fond of Homecoming for the 4 of Lightning, which is the Wands suit, but it works. And they're color coded. So the wands are this pink color, raindrops, which are water, is this blue color, clouds, which are swords, is purple, and then gems, which are pentacles, are green. But the keywords are great. I mean, they're very like basic illustrations on here, but they're not like actually all that lazy for the pips, right? Like they're not lazy, period. I didn't mean to say all that lazy. They're not lazy, period. Like you have a tree for legacy, which is my favorite keyword for the 10. Hard work for the 8, you know, and you can see there's a hammer. So they're intentional. Some of them feel a little bit like even here, excuse me, even here, the 7. The 7 of Pentacles as achievement is not quite aligned with my view, but I mean, that's the whole point, right? Is it's fun to be able to play with these decks. This is the kind of thing too, if you just want to like not think too hard and you want to shuffle and do a quick reading. So I probably will pull this in for my monthly member readings this month just to see how it functions for me in that quick kind of zippy reading situation. But this was just a fun, I wanted to check it out, see if it's one I can recommend, that sort of thing. But it's an independent deck and it looks like a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, I feel like everything else I'm going to want to talk about for an hour, but we can't do that. We're not going to be here for an hour. We're not doing it. Well, like in total, we're probably going to be here for an hour. Okay, let's get into it. So I say let's get into it like I haven't already been talking. The Theodore Pavlov Tarot. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. You just don't know. I'm so excited about this. I've already been into this and played with it a little bit. So this is just, this is gorgeous. It's very, very high quality. We have a hardbound guidebook. The deck is made out of beautiful linen cardstock. It's gilded. It's flexible and easy to shuffle. Oh my God, I'm in love. I'm in love. This is the nicest quality mass market deck I've ever purchased. I'm really impressed. It's beautiful. I love basically everything about it. I'm really glad I picked this up. So this has come in. I'm already playing with it a little bit. I'm a big fan. It feels so elegant and like kind of grown up. I always say that term, but that's kind of what it feels like to me. It feels very evolved and grown up, but it's also sort of got a modern twist to it. Like it's got a good amount of diversity. Like I just feel like we've got ability, we've got age. I think age less so. We've got ability, we have racial diversity, we have, look at this 2 of Cups and the 2 boys. I love it so much. I have strong positive feelings about this one, and I'm so glad that I decided to spring for it. I didn't get in on it when it was Kickstarter, but from what I've seen, this mass market quality seems very similar to the quality I saw in the Kickstarter version, which is pretty exciting. And the backings have this beautiful gold foil detailing on it. Like, hello? It's impressive. Well done, US Games. Really, really nice. So very, very excited about this. I still have to find the perfect Peggy bag for it. I'm obsessed. So excited about this. This one, let me have another sip of my coffee. This one is one I have high hopes for. I'm really hoping this is going to work out for me to be a very like sort of Crone Elder energy deck. As some of you may know, I had a deck that's really popular for doing Crone work called the Weaver's Oracle. It's very popular in YouTube. A lot of tarot people in the tarot community love that deck. I loved it, but it was too much. It was overwhelming every time I pulled a card. It went too deep and I felt like it almost talked over my head a little. So I'm hoping this is going to be a little bit better at giving me that sort of depth without going in so hard that I can't like enjoy it. I'm not a fan of this packaging. That's one thing I will say right away. My box, this seam already was ripped when I got this in. So I've had to tape it. I'm going to obviously take these out and put them in a Peggy bag because I hate this. Not only is it split box, but it's like this weird loose, everything's in one compartment. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. But the cards themselves, and they feel a little different because they were in these 2 halves. Like they don't feel, hopefully that'll fix itself when I shuffle it. But the cards are really glossy. I tried going through here and writing a keyword because in the guidebook, which by the way looks incredible. I'm really excited about the book. In the guidebook for every card, you do get a key phrase or keyword. Like here you have gratitude. And so I went through and I was writing on them with a Micron fine liner and it wiped right off, which I don't normally have that problem with Micron fine liners, but I did with these. But really excited about the premise of them. So these have sort of 4 suits. So these red cards, just give you a quick introduction to how this works. I haven't dove into it with any depth yet. You have the Sacred Hags, and then you have in these green cards, you have seasons. So there's things like Season of Salted Bones, Season of the Wild Wolf, Season of Mud-Caked Hands, of Holiday Grace, of the Haunted Heart. And the topics covered in these feel really like good and meaty. Like they don't feel very like, they're not fluffy, you know? They're not fluffy superficial. They feel really full of depth. These orange cards here are the stories. So you have things like the Witch's Initiation, the Unburnable Beloved, the Shadow Keeper. And it's funny because this black and white illustration with this pop of color, I wasn't real sure about the art, but it's the way that the deck is constructed that really excites me. And then these blue cards are the spells. So you have things like Dance of the Rebel Heathens, Songs of the Seal Women, Medicine of the Mist Dwellers, Fern Forest, Secrets of the Sea, Blood of the Warrioress, and House of the Yaga. Really interesting archetypal sort of stuff going on in here. This feels very like wild feminine, which makes a lot of sense for Danielle Dulsky's work. So she's the creator. She's an author that has, I've got one of her books. Is she going to list them out on the back here? Probably not. Her writing is very like sort of poetic in nature. Like, I don't know how to describe it. She's clearly a wordsmith. And what I really loved about this when I sort of peeked at the guidebook is you get sort of like, for example, in the Hag cards, you have Grandmother Speaks, which is as if you're sort of hearing from this character, from this archetype. Then you have a morning ritual and a moonlight ritual. I'm bumping my camera. And then when you get into these green cards, which are the season cards, you still have this Grandmother Speaks, morning ritual, moonlight ritual. Do you have that the whole way through? Yeah, you do. You have that the whole way through. So you get this sort of grandmother wisdom the whole way through. But I love the addition of rituals. I like that it sort of empowers you to do work. And I like that there's both a morning and a moonlight ritual. It sort of feels like it gives you sort of, if you're going to work with these cards for a morning draw versus an evening draw, the ways you can work with them. I'm pretty excited about this, to be honest. I think it's going to be really good. But this is another one that I feel like is going to be good for working with a single card at a time. Maybe pulling this for the moons or something like that. So we'll see how this shapes up. But I'm really drawn to anything with this more crone energy lately. I've been really, really magnetized towards things like this. So I'm really excited to see about it. When I found out this was coming out, I was really attracted to the concept of it. But then I was a little turned off by the kind of one-note color of the art. Because y'all know I love me my colors. But I think the depth of this is worth spending some time trying to get to know it. And these backings are beautiful. But this is not the kind of thing I would probably work with for others. This is definitely something for self-work. I don't want to even put it back in that box. I'm going to deal with that later. 2 more to go. So this next one, I found out about this first from Ruby. Oh my gosh. Tarot with Ruby? Is that it? I will link her channel down below. She has been a huge fan of this deck. She did a full walkthrough. And it was really enticing to me then, but I was like, I have other things like this. But y'all, this is such a well done deck. Like all of the cards are illustrated in a way that's really exciting. I ordered my copy of this from Theodore Tarot, which is where I've also gotten I got the Teddy Bear Tarot from there. And they seem to have a lot of decks that come from Thai artists, I believe, like artists in Thailand. And yeah, this is just really, really beautiful. And the presentation of this is really nice. I think Theodore Tarot threw this in, but they threw in a little tarot bag, which we'll probably end up leaving again because y'all, bag snob here. But anyways, it is a nice looking bag. It's just, I have Peggy. But anyways, this one really, really, this is the kind of thing I just love. So it has this guidebook, which seems pretty decent at first glance, but this is the kind of deck I feel like I'm not even going to use the guidebook for much. I will say that's a bit of a bummer when this happens, but given that this ships internationally, I feel like not a shock. I don't store my decks in my guidebooks, or I mean in my boxes, so this is less of an issue for me, but I know for a lot of people that would be a bummer to get this in, and I think it's just because it's not reinforced, right? It doesn't have anything to kind of keep the cards in place, so they move around like a brick in there and just sort of rip it open. So that's what happened with my box. But let's get into this and take a little peek. The cardstock on this is so lovely. It's like a matte. It's a little bit sticky, grippy, but it's not rose petal. It's just like a really true matte cardstock. So this is designed and illustrated by Ratanawadi. I'm so bad at names. I'm so sorry. Here, I'm just going to hold it up. This is written and designed by that person. Design and illustration is by that person. And then it's written by Roshni Sachdev. This is the first edition. I don't know. This is made in Thailand. I don't know if this is running out of stock, if they're going to do another printing. I would assume they will, but I would, yeah, check it out. I'll have links to everything down below, but this one is really great. It's another modern take on the tarot with just really mindful. I'm not going to go through all the cards. I just want to show you a few. Here's the Hanged Man where they're on the ceiling, which I think is so cool. Love this Death card. Love this Two of Cups, how they're doing the three-legged race. I think that's so fun. Yeah, it's just like a very modern, real-life situations that you see the different characters in. This one leans a little bit pippy, but that's the only one I think that's like that. I love this Seven of Pentacles with the coins all stacked up and the calendar pages kind of going away in the background. Love the Queen of Pentacles cooking. This makes me so happy. The Queen of Pentacles making soup is like, that's everything to me. I love that so much. Three of Swords, she's trying to glue a broken cup back together. That is so poignant. I think this is going to be a really, really, really solid reader. It does seem to lean, I believe, if I remember correctly, a little bit young. What is with the stabbed teddy bear? Why though? But I really do like these depictions. That's great for the Eight of Wands because it's actually a paper airplane, so it could be messages. This is one that I think would be really fun to do a full walkthrough on and really just talk about each card. That's so great. She's surrounded by cell phones. You get that like social media like person for the Queen of Wands, which I think is really great. She looks really young though. That would be my only complaint. A lot of these more modern decks tend to be a little bit young feeling, but there we go. There's the Strength card, which is fantastic. I love that. Like we've got the grandma with the wily grandchild kind of in their lap that they're trying to calm. And then in the background, you can see grandma used to climb mountains, which I think is pretty cool. Pretty cool. So yeah, the Tower being a wedding cake. Oh, like that's just kind of come crashing down. Oh my gosh. I think this would definitely be an excellent reader for clients for sure. Love this Judgment card. Oh my gosh, that's so good. What is the Devil in this one? Let me see. Star. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, so good. Yeah, I feel like this would be really good for client readings. Relationship readings especially because I feel like it really addresses a lot of that kind of stuff. So this is like the kind of deck that I said I don't need more of when I anti-hauled the Cosmic Cycles. But like this one's just, it's just really good. I just really like it. I'll probably end up with Cosmic Cycles one day too. Like, man, but yeah, I'm pretty excited about this one. This is neat. So that is the Wake Me Up Tarot. Ooh, let's zoom this back out. I'm going to have some more of my coffee before it goes cold on me. Uh-oh. What happened here? Oh yeah, let's see. So these are still in order because I have a feeling that this one you guys might want to see a walkthrough of. That's the Wake Me Up Tarot. Okay, last deck for this roundup. I'm so excited about this. So this was, I found out about this from the channel The Waves of Your Soul? Waves of Your Soul, pretty sure. I will link that down below. I love her channel. I love her voice. She's very soothing for me to listen to. She's one of my favorite channels. And she does just beautiful talking videos about decks. But this was her, she mentioned this, I believe, when she did her VR to the Top 10 Tarot 22 tag that I started in last month, January. And I am obsessed. Now, somebody told me about this deck before, and I'm so sorry to whoever that was. I'm really bad at remembering who. But I had ixnayed it then. I was like, nah, because the suits, I wasn't sure if I got how the suits were assigned. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyways, this is an ocean-themed tarot deck, and I think I am in love. So it just came in today, actually, the day that I'm filming it. This is called the Flow Tarot, and it is by Rachel Torda. So this is her business card. I'll just bring it up so you can screenshot that if you'd like. Now, the day that I'm filming this, the day that I got this deck in, I went to her Etsy shop to take a look, and there's none of these listed. So hopefully she's restocking. Otherwise, I'm really sorry because they may be out of stock, but I would just suggest that you message her if you're not sure and ask. I love that she included this vinyl sticker, which says "You are the universe" in a single drop. This is a really nice quality sticker. It's a vinyl one. This is going to go on a water bottle for sure. Okay, so it did come in like just loose and banded like this inside of this, I'm sure hand stamped or hand custom printed maybe canvas bag, which I'm kind of almost tempted to just keep it in this, which I know that I never do that, but this one, the seams are well, some of the seams are enclosed. Anyways, I just like that it says Flow. We'll see. It's going to end up in a peggy bag. I don't know why I'm lying to myself. Anyways, but the thing with this is it's photographic. It's a photographic deck. There are key phrases or keywords on every card though, and there are 4 suits. So I'll talk about that in a second. But first, hold on. Look at this. Look at the backs. Just look at them. Aren't they beautiful? I love this so much. And this feels like a high quality, I wish I could describe it. It has almost a waxy feel to it, like in a nice way. I don't know how to describe that. These feel like a demi matte. They're probably mostly matte, but if you catch the light just right, you'll catch a little sheen. You see that? These feel to me a lot like the higher quality cardstock at Make Plain Cards. I don't know if that's where it was printed or not. I'm not making any assumptions, just that it feels similar to that. And it has that kind of Make Plain Cards deck smell. So if you're a deck sniffer, it's kind of got that sort of smell. But there's also a lot of ink on these because, hi, look at how beautiful and vibrant they are. Anyway, so in addition to the major arcana, you have 4 suits. So, and it's actually really clever the way that she did this. So what I realized, so I cannot get my words out, oh my gosh. Wands are waves, so W, wands are waves. Swords are snow, so sword, snow. See what she did there? So clever. Pentacles are ponds, and they're groundwater, of course. Ponds are ground, earthy water, I guess, which makes sense to me. And then cups are clouds, so cups are clouds. So the first letter, it's an alliteration, right? So the first letter does line up, right? So it'll be easy to remember, I think, that way. And she has actually really thought about that, right? So she thinks of clouds. In fact, I'll read you for clouds, because this is the one that I think confused me when I first looked at it, because I'm like, clouds are air. Like, why are they water? But in a water deck, right? If you think about it, what she said here about clouds being cups, here it is. So she says, rain, clouds, mist, and rainbows make up the cloud suit. It encompasses all types of water that come from the sky, including raindrops, gaseous clouds, and high ice crystals. Cloud cards represent emotions, relationships, and matters of the soul. They bring messages about your heart, intuition, and feelings. The cloud suit replaces the cup suit in traditional tarot. Where the cup suit is connected to water, the clouds cards are united by the flow of emotion. It is fitting because the job of clouds is to hold water, so they act as cups to the water element. So there is, she thought about it, right? There's logic here. And this artwork is so beautiful, so I would definitely love to do a walkthrough of this one. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to lead you, but I'm totally trying to lead you. But I really love the key phrases on here as well. So for example, the Hierophant is the channel, and you can really see this sort of connection between heaven and earth here, this channel. The Lovers is the enduring union, and we have the sea and the sand. So just to give some examples, there's a really gorgeous one. Yeah, here it is. The Wheel is the cycle of regeneration, and it's volcanic lava going into the sea to create that new land, basically. The Floating One, Between Worlds. I mean, the images in here are so stunning. The Sun, the radiant companion. Ace of Waves is a ripple of energy. I think the key phrases really make this. I think if this was just by itself and just had the titles, I don't know if I would have been as enchanted. Oh, I didn't zoom in very much. Hold on. Brace yourself. The Two of Snow, the path for the Two of Swords. Like, how gorgeous is this? So I think I might be in love, truly. 3 of Snow is locked in ice. Just, oh, this is like what happens with freezing rain. It's so beautiful. 6 of Snow, when to fly. 7 of Snow, deceiving. Oh my gosh. 8 of Snow is stuck. King of Snow is vision. I just think it's really good. And you really get the elemental feel, I feel like. Thinking about clouds as containers of water makes a lot of sense to me. So I think, like, look at this rainbow in the 10 of Clouds. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I love it. So the only thing I will point out, and I pointed this out to some friends already, is that the King of Clouds is Hurricane. And it talks about spiraling renewal. And the entry in the guidebook really speaks to the regenerative forces that hurricanes can initiate. But I know friends who live in hurricane zones, and they don't feel very regenerative to people who live in these areas. So that's the one thing that I feel like if I lived in a hurricane area, I'd probably be more... I don't know if I'd love that card. That's the only card, just flipping through it, that I was like, I don't get it, or I'm not, might take me a minute to wrap my head around. So I wanted to point that out. But this is really, really, really beautiful. I'm really excited about that. This feels like water to me. This feels like, obviously, but this feels like what I want in a water deck. And I'm not quite sure why this one works for me, whereas others haven't, but it feels like nature water. Nature water, And I'm thinking of another Oracle deck, the Ocean Dreams Oracle, that I've struggled with because it feels like too ethereal and like disconnected from the earth, I think. Whereas this feels very connected to the earth. And plus it's so pretty. So yeah, that is the Flow Tarot. And that is the last one I have to share with you for today's recent deck roundup. So yes, comment down below. Let me know if you have any of these, what your thoughts are. Also, let me know if you have strong feelings about any of these that you want to see walkthroughs on. And upvote each other's comments so I know what to prioritize in my filming schedule. Some of these I might just do regardless. I feel like I really want to do the Flow Tarot and I really want to do Wake Me Up. But let me know. Let me know. Hit me up in the comments. What do you want to see my full thoughts on? I would love to hear. So let me know. As always, links will be in the description box down below for everything that I spoke about. And I will be bringing you another one of these for sure next month in March. So keep your eyes peeled. And I thank you so much for spending all this time with me. These are fun videos to film and I appreciate the company. So until next time, may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye.